Welcome to the Office of Educator Effectiveness's overview of the evaluation cycle webinar. Today we're going to give you an overview of the evaluation cycle and also remind you of some of the resources we have available. Hopefully you're already familiar with the Educator Effectiveness Weebly site located at educatoreffectiveness.weebly.com. On this page you'll find lots of resources related to the various steps of the evaluation cycle, frequently asked questions, guidance documents, and other help and support for you throughout the process. Today's agenda includes an overview of the evaluation cycle. We'll talk a bit about goal and action plan development, evidence collection and observations, as well as formative assessment and summative evaluation. Just to remind you where we are in our 5-step cycle, you've already completed your self-assessment and proposed goals through your evaluator in September. At this point, you should be considering perhaps revising your goals if they've been returned to you, as well as developing action steps and identifying professional support resources to support your achievement of your goals. As a reminder, each goal requires an action plan. If goals are related, that is, if your professional practice goal flows out of your student learning goal, only one action plan is needed. Team goals can have joint action plans, and action plans are submitted for approval just like your goals are. Both goals and action plans must be approved by your evaluator by November 1st. During the implementation of the plan period, there is a requirement on the part of the educator and on the part of the evaluator to collect evidence. Evidence is collected in order to help us see your proficiency in each of the 4 standards, as well as your progress towards your goals. Evaluators and educators are both responsible for collecting this evidence. Your evaluators are primarily going to be collecting evidence through classroom observations of practice, and educators are going to be primarily responsible for collecting artifacts that demonstrate their proficiency in standards 1, 3, and 4 of the Rubric of Effective Teaching. Observations are an opportunity for evaluators to gather data on classroom practice and on how students are learning, as well as to provide feedback to educators on their teaching practice. These may include a classroom visit, a learning walk, or instructional rounds, or team and parent meetings or IEP meetings. Feedback is required through the EDFS within 5 school days. But conversations are also encouraged between the evaluator and the educator. In the contract, there are observation requirements. There are 2 types of observations specified in the contract: announced observations and unannounced observations. Unannounced observations are suggested to last at least 30 minutes and include a post-conference and feedback in the EDFS within 5 school days. Unannounced observations are suggested to last at least 10 to 15 minutes and also require feedback in the EDFS within 5 school days. For a self-directed plan, there's no announced observation requirement. However, there is a requirement for at least 1 unannounced observation. For a directed growth plan, there's again no announced observation requirement. There is a requirement for at least 2 unannounced observations. For an improvement plan, there must be at least 1 announced observation and at least 2 unannounced observations if a plan is less than 6 months, and at least 4 unannounced observations if a plan is longer than 6 months. For developing educator plan, there is a requirement of at least one announced observation and at least 4 unannounced observations. And as usual, these are minimum requirements. However, best practice suggests at least 8 to 10 points of contact throughout the evaluation cycle. Artifacts are an opportunity for educators to document their progress towards their goals and their performance in each of the 4 standards. This should supplement evidence that is not captured during observations. These might include lesson plans, student work, samples, evidence of data analysis, and they're required to be electronic files uploaded into the EDFS. So the Employee Development and Feedback System can accept PDFs, Word documents, Excel documents, pictures, and any other type of digital file format. However, some educators may wish to keep a binder, a hard copy binder, but there would still be a requirement to at least include descriptions in the EDFS that would instruct your evaluator where to find these artifacts in your binder or portfolio. The formative assessment and formative evaluation and summative evaluation is a portion of the evaluation cycle where educators receive ratings on their proficiency in each standard as well as their progress toward each goal. There's additionally going to be an overall rating included in these reports that is based on the professional judgment of your evaluator based on their understanding of your proficiency on the standards and your progress toward each of your goals. There may be a meeting as a result of the formative assessment or summative evaluation at the request of the educator or the evaluator, but these meetings are required for an overall rating of these improvement or unsatisfactory. Educators would sign off on their receipt of their formative assessment report or summative evaluation report in the EDFS. Again, the signature indicates that you have received this report, not that you necessarily agree with its contents. The formative assessment reviews strengths, areas for growth, and your progress towards your goals. This generally occurs at the midpoint of the cycle, but it might also occur at any other time. And sometimes the formative assessment may lead to a change in plan. The summative evaluation must occur by May 15th for one-year plans, and the overall rating of this summative evaluation determines the next plan that an educator would be placed on. For educators rated who are rated on standards less than proficient, so if you receive a needs improvement or an unsatisfactory, there would be prescriptions included in that summative evaluation report, which would also be included on the subsequent plan.